What up? It's Matt again, Taco Potato Mustang. So, according to the Fox Body Hive Mind and the StangNet forums, or just one person who thankfully regularly chimes into my thread, the best way to approach removing the spindle from the control arm now that it's out of the car, which I think I said this in my last video, that it was gonna end up being, I knew it was gonna end up being more difficult, but I feel like if I had waited until I was actually able to get the spindle like sort of disconnected from the control arm, I never would have got any of this stuff out last weekend. So apparently one way to do it is to put your foot on the control arm, pull up on the spindle, and I guess again hit it with a hammer. I'm not gonna have as much leverage obviously, but I don't know, see what happens. I've been hammering at this and trying every different possible angle for like the last 25 minutes. Yeah, I would say probably easier to do it while it's in the car. I don't know. What up? It's like weeks later, and I went to AutoZone and I borrowed this puller thing to try and separate the spindle from the control arm. It did not work. It was didn't open wide enough to get to the the non-tapered end to get to the top of the bolt. However, I did just use the pickle fork slash tie end separator thing, tie rod end separator, and you can see that you can see that it's separated finally. So what I need to do is to unscrew the castle nut, and then I should be able to pull that right out. I basically just like hammered on the pickle fork in between, I mean, you can see where it is, like basically between the ball joint, or right at the ball joint between the spindle and the control arm. And then I put one foot on the control arm and just pulled as hard as I could on the pickle fork. As you can see, I'm sweating my ass off, but finally got it done. So hopefully that means I can start working on getting the rest of the new stuff into the Fox body on the driver's side. Victory. All right, so I pulled it. It's actually kind of stuck in the. Hopefully, I don't think it'll come flying out. But I'm gonna remove the castle nut. Recording this in case I forgot to mention it. I still actually, in order to separate the spindle from the control arm, I actually had to hit the top of the ball joint, like bolt. I think that's what you call that. I had to hit that. I hit it with my dead blow hammer, 4-pound dead blow hammer. Everyone said I needed a real 5-pound sledgehammer to do any of this stuff, which probably would have made it a lot easier, but I managed to do it without buying a hammer. So yeah, I had to hit it pretty hard, and then it came out. Yeah. Okay, now that I've achieved this great victory, I think the next thing I need to do is remove the outer tie rod end, which is another thing that I think I was supposed to do while the spindle was still in the car. Apparently it might be a pain in the ass to loosen the outer tie rod while it's not attached to the spindle, but I've never been a master of finding out the easiest way to do things, so we'll see how this goes. And then I guess the next thing would be figuring out how I'm supposed to assemble the caster camber plates. That should be interesting. And then I guess I would reinstall the strut. I think I'd do the control arm, then the spring. I'll figure out the order and go from there. Okay, so now moving on to the getting the tie rod end out, and I started assembling the caster camber plates, which is like a few pieces already, and then all of that hardware. Those are the that's the bump steer kit. I think it's just this and this. I can't remember. That's the old caster camber plate. There's a hardware for the new control arm, and I can't remember what these are for, but I'll figure it out. Gonna get back to it, but first I think I'm gonna go to the beach for a little while since it's hot as balls out. The pickle fork came through in the clutch again. I just held it at the right before the end of the tie rod, and then just turned this with a 22mm wrench. Seems to be working. And I think I need to count the number of rotations before it comes out, I can't remember. I'll have to figure this out. I did not make any additional progress on the Fox body Mustang yesterday, but I guess, you know, some progress, meaning like getting the control arm and the spindle separated was a great, you know, that was a nice feeling. So I will hopefully this coming weekend get a chance to get back to it and make a little bit more progress. At least, you know, try and get the tie rod end removed, and then start figuring out the order. You know, I think I have to put some of the caster camber plate hardware onto the end of the strut, So, you know, we'll get to that in a few days, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Thanks for watching.